Dude, what are you doing? Club time. Unsa. Wiki.
What are you wearing?
Barware.
Barware.
Ooh.
Like making drinks. Barware. God, I can't. I'm scared to see what he wears when I say cocktails. Welcome back to Below Decks. I'm Tom.
I'm Joe.
And we're the River Pirates. We're going to bring you another great episode. This time we're not going to go so much into depth with individual liquors, but we want to teach you what you actually need at your house to have a proper home bar. That you could really get crazy like I do and have all this insane stuff sitting behind your bar that you hardly ever use, but it's just nice to have.
I got a bare bones set up myself.
Yeah, if you want to just know exactly what you truly need to have a home bar that will allow you to make just about anything, these are the essentials. Now, I'll go into what else you can get, but this is what you need.
It's quite the array.
So, I'll explain everything to you, why you should get it. All right, first thing I'm going to get into is a large format ice cube tray. You want this because in a lot of your neat drinks or your spirits, your sipping spirits, you want that slow melting large ice cube. Mm-hmm. And so you definitely want to get you one of these silicone. It usually tends to work the best. This one here has a rigid rim on it because I can stack them inside my freezer. You don't want to leave stuff sitting in it too terribly long. Once it's good and frozen, I take mine out and put them in an old ice cream bucket.
Yeah.
So I can keep it covered because that cold air blowing over them from the freezer will evaporate them.
Okay.
And they shrink and they get smaller and smaller.
I have no idea.
So
I do love a restaurant when they have those. I never think about it.
You can get them in round. You can get them in square. I've even got a set that looks like roses.
Yeah.
So they come out there, and then that one I'll actually mix a tiny bit of grenadine into the water, and the roses come out pink.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they look really good. So,
good presentation.
But don't get the individual ones because you can get some that'll just make one ice ball, which it'll make a perfect ice ball, but what you need is one ice ball. You're gonna sit there all day just changing it out, getting it. Get one that has at least 4 on it, and you're good to go. So, as far as your tools, what you're gonna have, I always have a glass mixing pitcher here. This is not essential, but it does help quite a bit when you're making a lot of stirred drinks.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming through. You can replace this with a pint glass, and that because you're going to need one anyway. You can mix in a pint glass and use a Hawthorne strainer, just the way you do with this. And I'll get to that type of strainer.
Do you want glass? Can you get non-glass?
You can get glass, stainless steel, and plastic. Do not buy the plastic. Plastic is eventually going to get eaten down by the alcohol. And it's going to cause problems with your drinks. It's going to be causing problems with the plastic itself, and that it'll eventually break down. Get something that's non-reactive. Glass, stainless steel. You can get these in crystal. I don't recommend it because one, you're going to pay a hell of a lot more for it.
Yeah.
And really good crystal is leaded crystal. So you're going to be pulling that alcohol is going to pull a little bit of lead out of there.
Oh.
That's why a lot of medieval kings and queens and people in the early turn of the century, they're a little bit cray-cray because they would get a little bit of that lead because they're always drinking out of crystal.
Mine would get broke by one of the kids in the dishwasher way before.
Absolutely. So you'll get in there. Now, as far as your glassware that you're going to want, we're going to go back over to this end. You can get any kind of glassware you want. You can have all the cocktail glasses, the V shapes. You can get the margarita glasses. You can get anything that you think you need. Yes, I'm a big stickler at my home bar about serving the proper drink in the proper glass because that's me. I'm a nerd.
That's a good part of what we offer in our experience.
But all you truly need are these 3. You can make any drink in the world in these 3 glasses. This is your pint, your standard pint glass. That you can pick them up anywhere. I actually tend to go to the local dollar store and pick up my glassware. I don't know what you guys have in your area, but we have a store called Dollar Tree that I can pick up very well-made, heavy-duty barware for $1.25 a piece.
Okay.
They don't always have it in stock, what you're looking for, but what they do have in stock will be very good. Right? This is what's called a tall glass or a Collins glass. That's Collins, Collins, just like a Tom Collins, and that or highball sometimes they'll call it because it's a high drink. That's why they call it that. You're going to need certain drinks to be served in this. This you can serve just about anything you want in the pint glass. You're always going to need them for beers. Tall glasses, mojitos, Long Island iced teas, Tom Collins, things like that. Those are going to go in the highballs.
Are there some drinks that you don't want?
In the highball?
In any glass.
I mean, you can, once you get to that point, if it's a drink that you don't want in a highball or a pint, you can always use a rocks.
Okay.
And that, you can serve a martini in a rocks. It's not going to look the same. You can serve a margarita in a rocks. It's not going to look the same, but it's just as good.
Okay.
You can, this is the standard one that you put in old fashioned. You can even serve a Manhattan in here. I don't, but you can.
Yeah.
You can mix just about anything you want in there.
Is it because of presentation? Or
yeah, it's not going to affect the flavor.
Okay.
And that because it's just not going to look what you see it in the bar from the bartender.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to a bar that's making itself out to be a high-end bar and they're not serving in the proper glass, they're not doing it right.
Yeah.
That's not what you're going to want to see. Now, this is for your home bar. Do you need a cabinet full of 78 different glasses because you have to serve it perfect? No. You can serve things in a rocks, a Collins, and a pint. This is a shaker steel. This is one of the shakers you're going to want to use. They also make these that they're called a cobbler shaker, that they have a cap on it, that they're easier to use if you're not comfortable with it. You'll see how we use these on another video we're going to do that's all about mixed drinks and summer cocktails. So I'll show you exactly how to use it. It's not hard. But what you're going to do, you pair this with your pint glass. They go together, and then you shake. But you also do have to have some skill when it comes to pouring. Now, that's why a cobbler shaker can actually do a little bit better. I wish I had brought one with me, but it's not an essential. This will take up a lot less room in your bar because pint glass and that's right in it. So when you're storing, you got that right there. Now,
one thing, caveat, just from experience from bartending, high school, college, the temperature change can just change the size of the glass ever so slightly, and you'll see some bartenders smack it down to get a good seal, but then it will shatter upon the shaking. It gets cold, and then boom, there's glass in the drink. Right. I'm not saying
now you can
Tom Cruise cocktail in your house, but
you will tap the side of the steel to loosen it up to get it out. Don't jam it down in there because you could end up with some problems. Now, as far as your tools, this is where you have all kinds of variation. All right, this is what's called a muddler. Looks like a tiny little baseball bat, and this is used for crushing ingredients in your glass or in your steel. I prefer to use wood, just simply because of the control. As long as you have a good sealed product, it's not going to cause you any problems. There are some out there that have like a rubberized end on them. There's some that are just all metal. I don't like the all metal ones because there's some drinks you make in the glass and you could shatter your glass with the metal.
Yep.
This is just forgiving enough that you're not going to break your glass unless you're jamming down on it. So I would recommend a good wood muddler. You can pick these up on Amazon, or that's the best price I've found. Because Bed Bath & Beyond is now going out of business. You can't pick it up there. I've never found them at Walmart or Target. And if you find them at a grocery store or a liquor store, they're going to be marked up probably 2 to 3 times what you should actually pay for it.
If you find one of those on the nightstand, don't use it. It'll be dirty.
Yeah, it might be a little weird. And that, and if it vibrates, put it back. You just want a peeler, and that for garnishes, and that you just get a good little peeler there. Now the zester's a little different. I got a zester right here, and that zester carves in to the citrus.
Okay.
And you can actually carve a little bit of twist out. This just takes the peel. It's a peeler. This is a zester. Now you can pick all this stuff up. It's not a problem.
Right. I'm fired.
This is a quintessential, like an absolute must-have in every bar, and this is a bar spoon. You can do so much with this, it's not even funny. You can fish your cherries out of the juice. You stir your drink with it. You can flip it over and pour Guinness over the back to make your black and tan.
Oh yeah.
And so a bar spoon, a good bar spoon, is an essential one. This one is also a muddler.
Cool.
That so you can use it. I don't like to use it as much as I like my wooden one, but it does work very, very good.
If you make an outdoor bar, patio bar, you need the least amount of stuff out there because it won't make it in.
Right. And if you these are not expensive, so if it breaks or you lose it, it's not that big of a deal. Now strainers, there's several kinds of strainers. This one is what's called a Hawthorne strainer. It's got the spring around it. These are made to go over the top of these mixing pitchers that you have here, and it catches any large mixing ingredients you have in there, like mint leaves,
whatever you muddled.
Anything that you muddled in there. Ice also. If you want to have a drink that's got to be chilled in the mixer but served straight up, you use this. It catches the ice. Now you get the proper Hawthorne strainer. You see this? Like I said, you don't have to have one of these mixing pitchers. It fits perfectly on a pint glass as well, and you can pour straight through it because it's got the ridges on it. You can also fit it right on top of your shaker steel if that's the direction you're going.
So guy's pretty smart.
Yeah. So a good Hawthorne strainer you're going to want to have on hand. Now this is a sieve strainer. I'm going to say something a little controversial here because there's two different schools of thought. I like these rounded ones. They also make conical ones that come down to a point. I just think the conical one is a unitasker. It can only really be used to make cocktails. This can be used in your kitchen for several different reasons. And the whole reason for this is you have something in there in your glass that you want to catch, that you pour it through here. It's called double straining. What you'll do with it, you'll have on top of your glass, you'll have your strainer in. You're straining here to get the large bits, and you're straining there to get the little bits.
Got it.
And it goes right through. And so if you want a super clean drink, only on the ones that really require it, they'll say double strain in your recipe. That this is what you want to use. All right, now, last two bits of piece we got here. You're going to want a good corkscrew. This is what's called a wine knife.
Yes.
That because it has a little blade on it. Right there, that's made for cutting the foil around the top of a wine bottle. And then it's got a corkscrew with a stair stepper. Right? There's lots of fancy corkscrews out there. You can use them. I'm not going to tell you can't. My wife loves her rabbit corkscrew because it's just right.
Yeah.
I got used to using one of these. They're also simple because a rabbit corkscrew is big and bulky and it takes up a lot of space in the drawer. This fits right into my storage container on top of the bar.
Yeah.
It disappears into your pocket. It also it travels real well. Now, one of the most important pieces of bar equipment you'll have in your home bar is a jigger. Until you know exactly how much a 1 ounce pour looks like in your glass, you need to use a jigger. And until you have your recipes dialed in, you need to use a jigger because what it'll do, it'll allow you to measure out and replicate.
Yeah.
And then you can tweak.
I can make an old-fashioned Manhattan in my sleep and I still use one.
Yeah. And I eyeball a lot of stuff. That especially if I'm just making it for me and Joe. But if I'm making it for a group of people, I will jigger it out. Unless I'm batching and then I have measuring cups. That you really only need a 1 ounce. That's what they're always labeled by the large end. 1 ounce, 1.5, and 2 ounce are the ones you really need. They make bigger ones, but what's the point?
Correct.
And that you need a 1 ounce because you need to be able to measure 1.5 ounce portions. It's going to cause you to pour more if you have a larger cocktail, but it's not that hard to do.
Yeah. If you're making a cocktail, you got time.
You've got you can buy whole sets that go from like ½ ounce all the way up to like 3-4 ounces on each one. You don't need it. Get yourself a 1 ounce to start with. If you feel you need more, go buy a 2 ounce.
Yeah.
Or buy the 1.5 because it allows you to have that 3/4 ounce measurement.
Oh, that's okay.
And that because the small side is always half of what the top side is.
Okay.
So you got that there. So if you guys have any questions, shoot us in the comments. We'll try to answer them for you. If there's a piece of equipment that you've seen that you'd like to know about that we didn't cover, go ahead and let me know. I'll try to answer them in the comments there. Otherwise, check us out over on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You're going to see some recipes come up there. I'll talk about some of this equipment if you want. And until next time, we'll see you below decks.
Goodbye.
Doing my best in town on my own feet now. Don't go, dinner's done. Don't matter, I'm having fun. Oh, chasing the felt this way, and now it's my life. Leave it up to balance the steer, where my mind it is still unclear. All the thoughts in my head, I can still remember what you said. Look out, I'm gonna kill you dead. Finding equilibrium, looking left to right. The first time I felt this way, and now it's my life. Me if I fall, but I think I reached my goal. I found a new part of my soul, and now I have control. Well, words all becoming clear. What was once far away is now near. I can't believe all the hours we spent on the multicolored can. I can tell you really when. Every color of the spectrum, well, it was so nice. Change the shade or so you say. Take my advice.